Welcome back guys, thank you very much for joining me. Today we're going to talk about how to bleed a radiator. Now it's a very simple task and I've seen many videos online. However, there are some that if you do try it this way or don't take certain precautions beforehand, then you're going to really cause damage to your system. So I urge you just to listen to these precautions before you even attempt it. Now if the radiator is hot at the bottom and cold at the top, this generally means that you've got air in the system. So the precautions that I mentioned a minute ago are: one, to make sure that the system is turned off, the pump and the boiler is not running. This can be done via the thermostat, via the programmer, or off at the wall at the fuse spur, after it's finished its cycles of course. It's absolutely critical that you make sure it's turned off to prevent any damage from occurring. Next, you're going to have to identify what type of system you actually have. Where you've got a sealed system, which is a pressure gauge at the boiler, so it's normally around the bar mark that you have to keep the pressure, or it could be located in the airing cupboard. You will probably be familiar with that sort of system because you may have to keep topping the pressure up for whatever reason at some point. With that sort of system in place, all you're going to do is go to the boiler, make sure it's around the bar mark, go to the radiator, vent the radiator until either the air runs out or there's water present, then make your way back to the boiler or the filling point and fill it back up to a bar again. If you have an open vent system, which is a tank or a small header tank in the loft, then the process is slightly different. What you're going to do is obviously make sure the boiler is turned off as before, go down to the radiator and try and vent the radiator itself. Now you will notice it's very different to a sealed system. The air will come out at a lot slower rate and you won't have to keep topping it up because it does it automatically. The water comes in from the ball valve and fills the tank up to the desired level. Then of course it comes out the bottom to fill the system up. So as you're removing the air, it's slowly filling the system automatically. So again, all you're going to have to do is stay at the radiator, to be perfectly honest, until the air runs out or there's water present. Now when the air runs out on this one, you can't fill it up. So what you're going to have to do is go away for 5 minutes, make yourself a cup of tea, have a sandwich, then come back and try it again. This will depend on the system that you have. If it's nice and clean, which is probably unlikely, then it's going to fill up relatively quickly. However, if it's a fairly old system, which again is more likely, then there may be sludge present in there. Well, there probably will be, so it's going to take a short while to fill back up. Again, it's a slow process. So we've come to the radiator in question. This particular radiator is not getting hot at the top, and it's nice and warm at the bottom. We know the boiler's all switched off and it's safe to go ahead. We've taken precautions with the system. We know this particular system is an open vent, so we can go ahead and try and vent it. But first, we're going to check that the rad valve is switched on. Now this is obviously going to be set at the required number, obviously not on 0 or frost protection, anything higher, 3 to 5, that sort of thing. Then we're going to go ahead and check the lock shield at the back to make sure that is switched on. And you can do this by popping the cap off and just checking the valve to make sure it is raised. We are going to go ahead and get a rag in hand and of course our air vent key. Now depending on the radiator in question, this particular one you can actually do with a flathead screwdriver. Then you're going to go to the side of the radiator. Again, if it's an older radiator, it could be at the back, the vent. So just make sure you're aware of that. The modern radiators can be done with a flathead screwdriver as well. So just make sure you can see a slot in the thing that I'll show you in a second. But if not, you will need a key. So as you can see there is a slot in there, which is what I was referring to when I mentioned the flathead screwdriver. Nice small one, get it in the end, crack it open. Okay, now always remember, pop your key on, get your rag in place, and of course crack the nut. And you see, mine's full. As you can see, the water's pouring out. But if not, you will get a reasonable amount of air coming out of there. So just be patient with it and let it vent. And as it's venting, you will feel that the radiator is slowly getting warm from bottom to top. Now, if for whatever reason you're actually getting hot at the top and not the bottom, this could indicate sludge buildup. That's a whole different problem, okay? So bearing that in mind, if it's hot at the top and cold at the bottom, your central heating system will more than likely need a flush. So you will not get that radiator hot because of the sludge buildup and the residue inside the system itself. Thank you very much for watching guys. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I do hope this video has helped you in any sort of way. Just take those precautions I said before, because there are many videos not stating those and they're very, very critical, absolutely important. So again guys, I appreciate you watching and I'll see you on the next video.